He just stepping up. Why do you want to step up right now? Why do you? He don't give them a dime. He don't do nothing for them.
Okay.
He just stepping up because
Yes. Give
he
me
know he don't want to pay no
Miss
child
Murphy.
support or
Miss
nothing
Murphy. Miss
because he
Murphy.
never have.
Miss Murphy, you got to listen to me, please. The court was kind of very frustrated with the disrespect the court perceived it was getting.
If I'm being disrespectful, if I cuss, I break my back for him. And he didn't do nothing. He cannot show you one receipt. If he show you one receipt, it's fake.
And now since my grandmother get on the stand and say, hey, he didn't pay any child support, because that's her forte. Like my grandmother was getting child support for her son since he was up to 40 years old. He was 40 years old. She was still receiving child support. So that's her thing. That's how, but I've been here for my children. And I've always told Shanta, please stop calling my grandma. Call me. Let me tell you no first.
Please don't.
He's lying.
Be in this hearing. It's
I'm
about
sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry. He's lying.
Be putting it on.
So now all of a sudden, just because I'm trying to get legitimized and want to raise my children, I'm a bad guy. He's on drugs. He's on this. He's on that. Everything has been proven to be untrue.
The judge is frustrated with the disrespect.
Let's go ahead and get started. We were trying to handle the closings in this matter. I believe at the time we left off, Miss Murphy was giving her closing. And so we're probably at a point where we probably need to start over with those closings so we can kind of get context and pull time together. If you recall, the last time the court left, the court was kind of very frustrated with the disrespect the court perceived it was getting after spending long hours with the case. And so it was best at that point in time for the court to stop. And so I did. Ms. Murphy, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
I understand there were, and I indicated yesterday that you all could send to me the report. I think Mr. McCoy indicated that they were failing on the report cards. I haven't reviewed them. My staff did. And I'm a little confused on the failing part. So I was waiting. Before we go, because the only reason I accepted those was because your position was that they were failing. Could you tell me where it is that am I supposed to be looking for the failing report? So what year you're talking about, so I can be mindful, because when they presented it to me, they said they didn't see the failing report cards.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I apologize for the interruption.
Yes.
I did not get confirmation on the sharing of the takedown of the court reporter. I apologize.
Yeah, it's already done. That you here at the beginning. All right.
Thank you.
And Miss Marshall, you sent me all the report cards you got, right?
Yes, I forwarded Mr. Amos McCoy's email, and I believe Miss Lord sent me hers. Let me forward you Miss Lord. But yes, I forward you the one from Mr. Amos McCoy.
Okay, so Mr. McCoy.
Yes, ma'am.
Where am I looking for this?
On a Leah Amos McCoy report card.
Okay, so I have her report card, but what the failing, okay, in the science?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And also the comments from the teachers.
Okay, so yeah, I see. So I do see, okay, so 65, then I see 73. Okay, yeah, and then Georgia Studies, 41 and 42, that's failing. That's correct, that is failing. Language Art, 48 53, that's failing. Math is, okay. All right, and this is this year, 2023 to 2024.
Yes, ma'am. And they're stating like without her being in tutorial and stuff like that, now that there's no way that she's going to make it to the next grade.
Okay, where did they say that at?
That's what the counselor, when I spoke with the counselor.
I don't know about that. These are I mean, obviously Georgia Studies looks really, really low to pull up language arts, but I don't know if that doesn't, I mean, excluding summer school.
And also on testing day, she was missing. They had testing on.
Before you talk about that, can you tell me where, do you have proof that she was missing on that day?
Yes, ma'am. I can send it over to the courts.
Send it to Miss Marshall as well. Miss Lord, did you get a chance to look? Miss Marshall, send the report cards that Mr. or reports that Mr. McCoy just sent. Send those to Miss Lord so she can take a look at them too.
I saw them. I've seen them, Your Honor, this morning. Yes.
Yes, I shared them.
Did you also see what he's talking about, the failure to be in class on are these like standardized test days? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. On the 28th.
Standardized test days?
Yes, ma'am.
That I haven't seen.
Okay. Can you send that to us, Mr. McCoy? Send it, Miss Marshall. Miss Marshall will send it to all of us.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, I'm assuming then, though, Miss Murphy, you've seen the last report cards, the ones he's talking about.
I have seen Aaliyah's report card, and I was not happy with her, and I told her about herself. But you know, I'm the grandma. I've been taking care of them all their life. He just stepping up. Why do you want to step up right now? Why do you? You know, I'm one person. You're just stepping up. But I get on my grandbabies all the time. I give them everything. He don't get about the crack. I was already saying yesterday. He don't give them a dime. He don't do nothing for them. Just can I express myself?
Yes, but
ma'am, can I express myself?
You're going to get a chance to make any closings, but for right now, I'm just trying to make sure I have all the evidence that is in the case. So
yes, he just stepping up because he don't want to pay no child support or nothing because he never have.
Miss Murphy, you got to listen to me, please. I need the last report first, and then I'll let you complete your finish. I need the report about the attendance. Mr. McCoy, have you sent it to Miss Marshall?
Yes,
have
ma'am.
not.
I'm sorry?
I'm sending it now. Yes, ma'am. It's attaching.
Nope, they go to school. That's a lie. They say it's fake. Amani said he can make fake stuff up.
Okay, but
my other granddaughter said he made fake stuff up.
Give me a second.
That's his other daughter. Make fake reports. He made fake reports. That's what he do. That's what his kids say. They don't even want to be with him.
Okay, Judge, I'm just sending it over now.
Okay. Give me the ages of the kids again.
My babies is 14, 13, and 9.
Okay.
Amani, she's so smart. She said, "Daddy be making fake reports." So,
okay, I cannot accept that as evidence. Okay.
He do.
Okay.
What I want to see done, I can have them for a week. He can get them on the weekends. I can't see it right now.
For you to see, there.
Huh?
Okay, there you go.
Yes, he can see them on the weekend. Because I've been taking care of, I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to be disrespectful because, you know, I don't know how to use these phones. Calls keep coming in.
Okay, well, the calls are not interrupting you. Just need to continue. Just don't pick off.
You hear me? Yes, he can see them on the weekends. I've been having them since they was babies. And it's just making me, because he keep taking me through all of this, ma'am. Your Honor, what do I go through? Go to? He just got me. This man, he gave nothing for you. Okay, God, let me keep crying. He know he did nothing. All right, I'm sorry. I can't stop from crying because I go through so much with him. He know they don't do nothing. Oh God, but you, Lord Jesus. Okay, can you say it again, Your Honor?
I need for you to tell me some of the concerns that this is your opportunity to close. So some of the concerns that Mr. McCoy has brought up, such as the living
I
arrangement,
know
the
this.
children's
Okay,
grades,
my living arrangement is, therefore, I'm still staying with my daughter, but I took out $40,000 out of my 401. I had to take some money out from Emory. I want to take them vacation this week, and I can't do it because we have court this week. Because I'm just trying to please my babies. These are my babies. I'm trying to make them happy. They don't do that for them. They don't give them nothing. And it's like, he makes you angry. He do this. This is what he does. What do they want? That's not their house. That's not, they daddy built that. Now, why you want them now? Why? I'm sorry, Your Honor. I don't want to be disrespectful or angry or nothing like that. I've been having my babies for oh Lord, I had them for all their life. And I had to cancel our trip and everything. I had to. We're supposed to be on spring vacation. We in court now. They angry now. That's what I does. I said, and then I said, Grandma, we're gonna get the house next. Let me take you on vacation. They daddy don't do this. They don't do nothing. He don't do nothing. He don't do nothing, Your Honor. Do nothing. I do nothing. I do all this. I do all this since my babies was born. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If I'm being disrespectful, if I cussed, I'm sorry. I didn't do it. I just poured $40,000 out my damn goal for 1K just to take them on vacation. And it's like, and he just keep pulling on me, he keep pulling on me, and he's never done nothing for me. Let him show some receipts. Let him show some receipts. I can show you some receipts. I guarantee that. And that's a quarter of my money, my 401K. I do all this for these kids. I break my back for them. I break my back for him, and he didn't do nothing. He cannot show you one receipt. If he show you one receipt, it's fake. I guarantee it. He shows you some report cards, it's fake. He shows you some emails, it's fake. That's what he does. But I can show you some videos with him doing dope and everything. And I promise to God, but I don't endure in that. I don't dwell in all that. I'm a grandmama. I just take care of my babies. They not. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm just tired. He just taking me through too much. He know he don't take care of these kids. He didn't get that house. The granddaddy got that house. Oh, I'm so tired. How much can I take? We're supposed to be on vacation. I had to cancel my house, my Airbnb, and everything. I had to do all that because he's man, because he won't ask the. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, madam. Ask D-Face. Ask D-Face what they said. He said, I want the food stamps, I want the housing, I want everything. And then they gave them to me. It's just crazy. How much can you take? Just let me finish raising my grandbabies. My baby about to be, she's gonna go to the next, she's going to high school. She's going to high school. I know my baby. That's my baby. My baby going to high school. I know for a fact. I get on her. I get on all my grandbabies. I got 7 of them. He want to make it think like it's different. Like it's just like, come on, give up, man. Give up. They don't do nothing for them. And I put this on God. They don't do nothing for them. Your Honor, they don't do nothing for them. They don't do nothing for them. They don't do nothing for them. And I break my back for them. They got everything. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm
So,
sorry.
all right.
Yes, sir.
So,
I'm sorry.
no. I know the court reporter came on after we got started. So I do want to make sure that the court reporter notes that Miss
Yes.
Ashley Murphy isn't present. She was present on yesterday when we indicated that we would be on Zoom today. We indicated we were going to be on Zoom today at 9.
Yes, ma'am.
And then I moved it to 11, but I did have the Zoom open at 9 just to make sure anyone who came in would know that we were moving it to 11. And I understand from Ms. Marshall that no one came in other than yourself
Yes, ma'am.
at 9. So I'm not sure where she is, so she won't have an opportunity to conclude with regard to the evidence. Before the court goes any further, I think Ms. Lord, I don't know if I gave you the opportunity. I know it was on my mind to ask you if any of the evidence that you perceived, because I know some things you didn't have an opportunity to review, if any of the evidence perceived or changed your position in the matter. And I wanted to hear from you. I believe there was that you I can't recall if we had that if we had that exchange or not.
I know that Mr. McCoy did ask me whether some of the report card evidence he had before changed my opinion, and it said, well, it strengthened a concern I'd had since the beginning that Ms. Shanta Murphy was stretched too thin.
Okay.
So I would, it would be wise for her to have more human and monetary resources to cope with the situation. But I still, when I look at the custody factors of the statute, I come to the same conclusion. And I'd like to note that Your Honor asked Mr. McCoy, said you were going to be looking for whether he had any acknowledgement of how great a debt he owed to other people for stepping in when he had not been absent as a parent for a long time or significantly absent. Did he appreciate what Ms. Shanta Murphy had done? And we never heard anything like that. Instead, it seems to be, he doesn't seem to have that awareness of his own, I guess to me, I think it's important for parents to sort of question themselves and think, well, is this, could I be a better parent? Could I do something better? Whatever. And I see that in Ms. Chandra Murphy, who's agonizing over things, and as opposed to Mr. McCoy, who seems to approach it as a trying to win something. You know, and looking at the custody factors, you know, there's some evidence of domestic violence. There's a long by Mr. or at least reports of domestic violence by Mr. McCoy. There's reports of some substance abuse, although no true evidence.
Yeah, I'm gonna object. There was no conviction of that. There was no conviction. I'm gonna object.
I said there was reports, but so
I think she's indicating reports. Miss Ashley Murphy testified that you all were in a relationship and that you did drugs together. That's a part of her testimony, which is, and also it became a part of the DFACS record, which is the reason DFACS required you to do drug testing. So there is sufficient evidence that there is at least those allegations to be brought up. I know your position is you don't do drugs, but those were the allegations made.
Well, yes, ma'am. And the court received my drug test, correct?
Yes, I did receive it.
And Your Honor talked to Aaliyah.
Were you aware that Mr. McCoy did submit to a drug test?
Yes.
Negative.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Yes, I was. Thank you. And that is.
And Ashley didn't drug test at all.
No, she did not submit one. She said she could not afford it.
So, but I would, with regard to the report cards, I also sent in some report cards. I remembered I had records from the school that go up, they just go up through the end of 2022. So I don't have recent records. I did reach out to the counselors at the school very recently, but it did not hear back. But I guess I note in one of the notes in Aaliyah's talks about sleeps in class, that inattentive. And that would be consistent with what she said to Your Honor regarding having lots of trouble sleeping, being worried sick, very distracted, that kind of thing. So I would suggest that perhaps the prior performance she had in school might be a better indicator. I agree that there's a significant concern that this extended family needs to address with Aaliyah. And just looking at her yesterday, seeing an absolute portrait of teenage misery as she watched her parents either discussing or arguing about her, depending on how one characterizes it. Well, at any rate, that's
so essentially you've heard the evidence, you've seen what the court has seen as well, and your position remains that grandmother should have custody of the children.
Yes, it is, because there was such a long time when Mr. McCoy could have come and seen the children on the weekends and didn't, or did only rarely. Now he's got, and another thing that's very, he's got this new household with his long-term girlfriend and his mother. You, of course, saw his mother testify. His mother apparently has had very little recent contact in recent years with the children. But she has, very strong opinions on how they should be raised. And his girlfriend's been conspicuously absent. We haven't seen her come in and say, "Oh, I'm excited about this opportunity," or "I'm willing to help," or anything like that. We don't know what her attitude is.
So let me ask you about the living arrangements for grandmother. Grandmother, according to Mr. McCoy, grandmother lives with her adult daughter, with her child, plus the 3 children. And potentially an uncle. They all share a 2-bedroom home. Now, I did speak with, I'm sorry, what's the oldest child's name?
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
I did speak with Aaliyah, and Aaliyah loves the setup. She's not bothered by it whatsoever. But, of course, she's 14, but she's not bothered by it. Does that concern you? Because Mr. McCoy, where the children would have a lot more space. So when you compare home to the home, do you have any concerns in that regard?
Not really, because I think to Ms. Murphy, they had to move because of a problem. It wasn't something she willingly did, and she's been looking for a larger place since then. But as we all know, apartments are expensive nowadays. And I think her priorities, she described her priorities in looking for a place that had schools that she thought would work well for the children, you know, as opposed to just someplace she liked or whatever. She had to look at economic reality. And you know, she wasn't getting any financial assistance from Mr. McCoy. If she had been, maybe she would have had more options, but she is actively been looking for a bigger place. So, and I don't know, for what it's worth, I did ask the uncle whether he lived there, and he said no, he didn't. He hadn't for quite a while, in a telephone interview.
Okay. And then the second issue that I think that Mr. McCoy brought up that concerns the court, of course, I think you kind of already touched on the grades, and I did speak with her. She believes that a lot of her grades is a result of being a part of this battle, just feeling not sure, and that she claims that's kind of what caused it. But the attendance things, grandmother would be largely responsible for, making sure that the kids get to school. I mean, obviously, once they get there, whether they get to class on time might be different, but the number of absences and tardies, what is your thoughts on that? And do you consider that Mr. McCoy might be better at getting the children to school on time, since apparently Miss Murphy has had some challenges?
We've seen, well, yes, she's had some challenges. That's what it looks like. And, but we've seen no indication that Mr. McCoy would do a better job. What we've seen is that he came into this process very late, and he's, you know, gone belatedly to the school and talked to people, and now is saying he'll do, I mean, all I can know is that he was late to one appointment with me. But
Yes,
but,
yes, I was late meeting with you, and you was also late meeting with me when you came to
Ms.
my house.
McCoy, you have to let her talk, okay? You'll have an opportunity. Go ahead, Ms. Lord.
well, I'm just saying, he's an unknown quantity in a lot of ways in these girls' lives, you know, because he's been, I mean, they are attached to him, they love doing things with him, all that, but we just don't know what he would. We know that for years he didn't see them as much as he could have. We know that for a really long time he gave them no financial support. And we know that for a very long time, Ms. Shanta Murphy pulled it together and covered the waterfront, and maybe didn't do a perfect job, but is struggling against, you know, is working with limited resources. I think her priority has been her grandchildren, and I can't say that with any confidence about Mr. McCoy.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. McCoy, I'll give you the final.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Just to touch bases on what the guardian line said.
Wait, let me also, so you'll know, here's the two things that I'm listening for, and I want to get an idea. I want to understand the lack of financial support for the children, since they apparently, the position was that you've never paid any financial support for the children. Then I want to hear your decision, what prompted your decision to come in at this point. I do want to address those, because those are the two concerns that they presented to the court. And third, if I asked you before, were you aware that the children were failing? Initially, I thought you said no. Then I think you said you just found out. But here's the issue: why not financially help them get tutors and things of that nature to make a difference? If you've known for some time, why not make a contribution towards it? Like as we're talking now, it's been 2 months, and you've known about the struggles. Have you done anything in that regard to assist them? So I want to understand the question that they've presented to you, which is basically why now? And also, I think we went over, I know about the living arrangement, so I think we have that. So yeah, those are the two things. Just make sure you address in your closing, okay?
Okay. As far as the financial support, I have supported them, and if I was short of anything, like my family stated, my uncles would do something like send food and send money for food. My uncle has paid bills for Shanta when my grandmother called and say Shanta need a bill paid.
Not talking about your parents or your family. I'm talking about you. You know specifically that's the main issue. That is
Yes, they did it for me, and I also have supported my children, like you say.
Mr. McCoy,
Yes,
this is
ma'am.
your arguments. This is your opportunity to have to be truthful, have some vulnerability, and tell me what it is. I've been doing this too long for you to try to mince situations. Okay, you are not your uncle, you're not your grandmother, and your grandmother specifically said she did for you because she thinks you were lazy. She didn't say she did it for you because you asked her to. She said she did it for you because you wouldn't. And she was not. She was not giving you accolades, okay? She was saying she did for you because you wouldn't do for them, okay? So don't try to tell me your grandmother was taking up your stead when she was doing it because you wouldn't do it, okay? Let's not do that. If you want to be honest, you need to be honest about what you did and what you didn't do. But don't try to mix something up with me because I've been doing this too long for that, okay? So the question is, why didn't you provide support? It could be I wasn't working. I don't know what it might be, but I need to understand the truth of it. And telling me your uncle did it or your grandmother did it when they were bothered by doing it, it's not gonna be convincing, okay?
Yes, ma'am. As far as my grandmother's statements, you heard my uncle testimony on how she is just trying to relive her raising of kids because she
Mrs.
didn't raise her
I don't
kids.
care about your grandmother's statement. Your grandmother indicated she paid for these children because you wouldn't. Is that not true? Did you ask her
That's
when
not that's not true. That's not true.
did you
It's been times I used to call Shanta like, "Hey, please stop calling
No,
my grandma. If you need something, call me." Even from rides, she would have my grandmother drive all the way from Dallas, Georgia, coming to DeKalb County, Georgia. Call me. I used to call me. Why are
that's
you
a lie.
whipping and running my grandmother back and forth? That's been going on since 2019.
Mr. Emmons, did you pay child support to Miss Murphy? That's a simple question. Yes or no?
No,
Why
no.
not?
Because I did at the time I was doing the things that I needed to for my kids, as far as school shopping, school clothes. Um, I was getting them on the weekend, and like the Guardian Lightning stated, her plan and her deal was Shanta gets the kids during the week, and I get the kids on the weekend, and they don't want no child support. And now since my grandmother get on the stand and say, "Hey, he didn't pay any child support," because that's her forte. Like my grandmother was getting child support for her son since he was up to 40 years old. He was 40 years old. She was still receiving child support. So that's her thing. That's how. But I've been here for my children. And I've always told Shanta, please stop calling my grandma. Call me. Let me tell you no first. That's been the whole thing. I haven't even been able to tell Shanta no. Shanta hasn't called me and
What?
said, hey, do you have $50 for the kids? And I say, no. Or I don't have it. Or I can't do it right now. Then you call.
You're lying. I'm
Miss
sorry.
Murphy, put yourself on mute. So please don't
He's lying.
be in this hearing. It's
I'm
about
sorry, Your Honor. I'm
gonna be
sorry.
here,
He's lying.
be putting it
I'm
off. Go ahead.
So that was my main concern. Like, and that's why I kind of got you like confused. Like I haven't been trying. I take care of my children. If I go buy them $150 shoes, you don't think I can take care of them? If she called me, hey, do you got $10, $20? So now it's to the point where my kids just ask for the money. My kids will text me, hey, Dad, can I? $30 for this. Anything they want, I send it to them. If they want money for a game, for Roblox, I send it to them. Money to go to the store. When they just had a dog, Aaliyah had a dog that somebody in the neighborhood gave to her. I bought the dog food. Aaliyah texted me, "Hey Dad, can you send me money for the dog and so I can get some dog food and puppy pads?" I send the money for the dog. So if I take care of a dog that they had, you don't think I take care of my children?
Well, the question is, you just indicated the answer is no. You haven't given any money to them. You said that you
No,
did not.
not to Shanta. Not to Shanta. I have given money to my children. I have taken care of my children, but I haven't given money to Shanta. You're correct. Yes, ma'am. And it's not because I couldn't have, or Shanta's never called me and asked me for $1, let alone $10 or $20. She never called and say, "Hey, Dante, you got $5 for the children for a McDonald's?" Nothing.
Do you think that's the only way you could give her money is for her to ask? Did you think that did it ever occur to you that your children had needs? For example, they were living in an apartment that even you thought were too small for them. Did it ever occur to you to give her $300 a month so she can buy a bigger place or afford a bigger place? Did it ever occur to you that she shouldn't have to ask you, that as a father you should give it?
Yes, that's why I was giving money to my children, because anytime, like, I never tell my kids no. And if Shanta would have asked me, if I had it and I could have did it, I would have told her no, or I would have told her, "Hey, I can't do it." I never told her I can't do it because she never asked me. But you're correct, Yana. And I'm just trying to see, like, why can't I have them through the week and Shanta have them on the weekend? So I can support the kids fully, and like even when the kids stayed with me in 2018 and 2017, their grades were low. When they came with me and moved with me, they were unenrolled students.
I'm sorry, what year are you talking about?
In 2018, when they finished the school year 2018, they were unenrolled students. Before that, their grades were low. They actually picked their grades up from what they was and received certificates and everything and finished the school year off with me at Cedar Grove Elementary School.
Okay, and the next question is, um, in 2018, I think the kids were, I think your grandmother took the children to Shanta. Your was you didn't want that. And I think you filed your petition, what, about 6 years later? Why did it take you 6 years to decide that you wanted to take care of them?
It wasn't 6 years, Jan. It was.
Or what year? How many years was it?
I filed my petition in 2021.
2021?
Yes, ma'am.
So 4 years. Tell me what happened in those 4 years.
Okay. I filed for legitimation in 2021. Soon after Ms. Shanta Murphy filed a motion to intervene, misrepresenting herself to the court.
No, not 21. I'm saying what happened in the interim. Why did you wait the 4 years in the interim?
Because even like I wasn't aware of the legitimation process until defects told me after I had came with my drug test, and they were saying I now have to get legitimated. And then my grandfather's house caught on fire, and so I started taking care of him, and he moved in with me, and I was taking care of him for 2.5 years, like literally cooking, bathing, getting my grandfather dressed, taking him to doctor's appointments, all that. If I can take care of an 80-year-old, you don't think I can take care of my children? My grandfather was grown and already stuck in his ways, and I took care of him very greatly. Nurses and all type of people came to my house all throughout the week. And there was no type of reports of any, you know, wrongdoing from any of them. Chances Murphy never been to my home, even when me and Ashley was together as teenagers. She never been to my home. She never knew where I stayed at. She was sending her daughter all the way to the west side of Atlanta from Indian Creek train station to H.E. Home train station and never had an address for me. So
what you're saying? You sending her daughter where?
Across town and never knew where I stayed. And like now, my daughter is allowed to go here and there. She's at a girlfriend's house, which she indicated she gets her weed from her girlfriend's mom. So she like Miss Shanta said, she's just trying to please the kids and be friends with the kids. I'm trying to grow the kids up with structure and so they can be somebody, not a statistic. And yeah, so like I even stated in my pleadings, I know her parenting style. Me and her daughter was allowed to do things in her home at a young age. And that's in my emergency hearing when we filed that motion and we came to court, that was my main concern. And yeah, and you, Your Honor, you told me, you like, I don't believe she would do that. She won't, I don't believe she'll let that happen. She was like, the kids are only 12 years old right now.
Let what happen?
Kids be a fast living like they're doing now. Because I was concerned about me being able to stay in her home and have sex with her daughter at the age of 14. And you said you don't believe that would happen. And now my daughter is getting caught with sex toys at school. She's doing drugs. She's trying to be gang affiliated. She's failing class. And
Well,
it's just all.
I'm going to say this simply because we are online. Your daughter denies those things that you're saying. Her position is that she was not caught with a sex toy at school.
But we admitted that into the evidence with the school records from the report of what they caught her with. It was a blue sex toy. That's what it stated on. If you want to give me a second, I can get my exhibit.
No, I don't. You put in the exhibit. I'm just telling you what she said.
Yeah, and I'm just saying what the school record said. Like, I cannot make up a school record. What they call it, incident report about a child. I'm not. If my child is doing great, she's doing great. I'm not going to allow my kid. Like, and Miss Shanta Murphy, she'll say, like she just told Miss Arlena Marshall, oh, the kids are not failing. I promise they're not failing. Because Miss Marshall asked that she send over the report cards that she just said she had yesterday. And she stated no, but I promise they're unenrolled students. And then when you get on here, she say, oh, I talked to her about it. It's not happening. The teachers they're wondering like what's going on at home because no correction is being done. How they keep having a problem with a phone? She shouldn't have a phone in school. She can't stay off of it. It's a problem. The teachers are begging and pleading. They see the child.
Your Honor, may I make speak?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
They see the child has potential, and they see that the child isn't reaching her full potential. Like I said and stated in my pleadings, there's no structure in her home. And on all the reports, you can see that sleeping in class. So that's an indication that the kid do not have a bedtime. She's not getting proper rest at home. And she stated to you that she smokes weed at night to help her go to sleep. So where is she smoking this weed? Is she smoking it outside at nighttime, or is she smoking it in the home where the grandmother is, and where the other people in the home smoke weed? Where is she smoking it at? She shouldn't be smoking weed, period. She's not even 90 days into 14 years old. She just turned 14 December 1st. And with me, it'll be a way different. The schools that the kids will be going to is not even 4 minutes away. So if a teacher call my phone, hey, your child not in school, I'm gonna go up there and find out where she at and walk you back to the class. I promise you it'll be a change in their whole living. Like, even when I used to get the kids, Shanta used to be like, oh, make sure they be good with you. My kids act like babies with me. I was astounded, shocked at the things they were doing. I go in the neighborhood, my daughter out there with boys. These guys got flags and stuff hanging out their back pocket and all type of stuff. Shanta nowhere to be found. My daughter has already had police interaction. No, that's why Shanta got put out her place, because they deemed it criminal activity. But she told the Georgia Lord she got put out because her cousin fight. Be truthful with these people. You lying to the guardian and lying. So everything that I'm like, if be a grandmama, and then she has contacted me as I
Your
showed
Honor,
her.
Your Honor,
Put yourself on mute.
Please talk.
can I please?
No.
Can I show you some videos of his videos?
Ma'am, put yourself on mute.
Can I send you some videos? His videos.
Put yourself on mute, Miss Murphy. Put yourself on
Okay.
mute.
Okay.
All right, hurry up. Let's end this.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm just trying to raise my children to be the best that I know they can be. They're not in a structured environment, and like I say, me and Shanta stay probably like almost an hour away from each other. So if the teacher call my phone and say, "Hey, your daughter's not in class at Miller Grove Middle School," I can't get there in time enough to make sure that she be in that class. When she living with me, she can. I'm not trying to keep the kids away from Shanta or Ashley. They can visit on the weekend, but I just want my kids. Like, they have, like, Ashley has been arrested for family violence. I'm not the violent one. Their household is the violent one. Where she stays now, her daughter don't even want her there. That's why she contacted me on the weekend where I had my children. If you need me to give you the date, I can give you the date. It was last month. Probably like 2 days before we had to come in court. She's crying because her and her other daughter, who she stays with now, is fighting, and her daughter wants her out the house. So she was like, the kids gonna stay with you. When is your house gonna be finished? They gonna stay with you. I have the text messages to show that. I came back to her house with the kids. We had a conversation in front of the kids, stating they gonna come with me. She asked, can they finish the school year off there? I said, yeah, just trying to be nice about it, but I know how quick her mind changed. That's not the first time she has contacted me saying, hey, when can you get your kids? I'm not contacting her initiating these conversations. I'm not contacting her saying, hey, can I please get my children? She's contacting me because, like she said, her health is going down and stuff like that. This is what she said through text. So now all of a sudden, just because I'm trying to get legitimized and want to raise my children, I'm a bad guy. He's on drugs. He's on this. He's on that. Everything has been proven to be untrue.
Your Honor, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He's lying so much.
But you are. You are.
I'm sorry.
Trial
Because he's lying.
You have to, at some point, you got to stop. and that's where we are. Okay. I'm done with both. I've heard the closing arguments. I know the evidence in the case. And the court will make a decision. I'm going to go back through the my notes and the evidence, and I will make a decision as to the well-being of the children. I want to make sure that both of you understand something, and it's very important that you do. But both of you clearly love your children. Okay, both of you are adults. Both of you can take care of your children. Take care of the children. That's not an issue. Okay, so it's I'm not determining whether Mr. McCoy can take care of a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old, 9-year-old. Neither am I indicating whether the grandmother can. I know you can take care of a kid. That's not the issue. The issue is a standard. It's called the best interest of the child standard. That is the standard I'm using. I'm not doing what's in your best interest. I'm not doing what's in someone else's best interest. I'm going to do what's in the best interest of the children. And there are criteria that you look at when you decide. For example, although she hasn't made a formal election, but she did make an election in my office. When a kid is 14, the kid gets to decide where she wants to go. She can stay wherever she pretty much wants to stay, provided that person can give her the things that she needs in order to thrive. Okay, so that becomes an issue. So that's a consideration. But then you have other children who are with us, and sometimes the idea is whether you're trying to keep the kids together and what that looks like in trying to keep the children together, because you have a 13-year-old whose decisions as to where he or she wants to stay becomes a consideration for the court. And then it's the thing, and I think I don't think saying that is going to surprise you, Mr. McCoy, that she doesn't want to stay with you. She wants to stay with her grandmother. And she also doesn't have any qualms with staying with her mother, or visiting with her mother, and getting more visiting time with her mother. She doesn't have any qualms about that, because that's the only child I've spoken with. Although she has articulated what she believes that other children would say, I did not consider that because I didn't speak with the other children. But there are other lists of things that you have to consider: the bond between a parent or even a grandmother who basically raised them. You have to consider their bonds. I have to consider the bonds between you, the bonds between the siblings. I consider the whole education piece that you presented, the challenges that appears to be occurring in education with regard to Aaliyah. And so there are some other things along other factors, some of the things that Ms. Lord went through. And of course, I will give great consideration to Ms. Lord because she is the guardian ad litem and she's articulated what she believes is in the children's best interest. It doesn't mean that the court has to rest on that, but it is a heavy consideration because she is an officer of the court. So those are things that the court will consider, but I want to make sure that you both understand that. And then again, no matter what happens in this case, however the court decides, I really think it's really important for you both to understand that you're going to end up working together. I mean, even if one gets a weekend or one gets a weekday or however it is split, you have to work together. And that means you have to appreciate each other. And you got to appreciate what each other is giving. And that's what I was trying to explain to you last time. Mr. McCoy, one of the things that concerned me, and I think this is no surprise to you, that it surprises me how hard you are on Miss Murphy. Put yourself on mute. You are hard on her. You're very hard on her. And you're hard on her even down to the raising of her own child as you start reflecting on your relationship with her daughter. And things you said did or did not happen. I don't know because I'm not even concerned about that generally. But you're very hard on her. And it worries the court that you take that position because this woman stood in the gap. Your kids could be in foster care somewhere. And they could be spread and split up. They could be. And when no one was standing in that gap, she was. She was the person who making sure your children stayed together. She was the person who making sure they stayed healthy and as wholesome as they possibly could. It was her that's doing that. And you have to acknowledge that. And it's really important for you to do that, to acknowledge not what she gave, but also what she gave up. She gave up a lot because she didn't have to do that. She did it because she loved them. But you, as a father of those children, who you even acknowledged did not give any funds to help raise these children, whether you wanted her to ask you for money before you give it, which I never understand that never makes any sense to the court, where a father would say, the only reason I didn't give child support, no one asked. I hear that and I'm like, but you have children and you know they eat and you know they have needs. And you need to meet them. So no one should have to ask you to take care of your children. You should take care of your children because they're your children. And taking care of your children, for some reason, I don't know why this is this phenomenon. Taking care of your children is not giving your children shoes and school clothes. That's not taking care of your children. That's a portion of it. But taking care of your children largely deals with making sure they have secure housing, adequate housing, making sure they have adequate food, making sure they have adequate educational resources that are being met. Those are those basic needs that you need to make sure they're being met. Whether they have $150 Air Jordans is not going to affect the wholeness of your children. And so, you don't make a big deal out of a $150 pair of shoes when you have a child who could take that $150 and go to tutoring because apparently something is needed. So those are the things. But if you gotta be mindful of that in being a parent. So I want you to appreciate her for the things that she's done, whether she ran afoul of it and didn't get them to school on time. There are plenty of days they got to school on time, and you got to be appreciative of that.
And I am young.
Put yourself on mute. By the same token, Miss Murphy, I think you need to understand that Mr. McCoy he is the father of these children. These are his children. And he wants to now be a part of their lives, even if you do not understand why. Why he waited, I don't know. What was going on. But I do recognize that he wants to do it now, and it should never be too late for people to participate in their children's lives. It should never be. So he's at a point now where he wants to participate. He wants to help raise these children. There are some challenges. You have some challenges. You have, put yourself on mute. No, put yourself on mute. You have living arrangement challenges. You have challenges with their education because there's some challenges going on. Those are some challenges that you have. That's just what it is. Okay. Put your video on because I'm not talking to myself. Ms. Murphy. Miss Murphy?
Yes, ma'am. For my video, I don't know how to do it. I'm trying. Don't know how to do this.
There you go. All right. Now mute yourself again. Those are some challenges that you have, and you all should be working together to help ameliorate challenges that you have. If you need help getting the kids to school, Mr. McCoy, you should be able to do that. That's it. If you see the kids aren't getting to school on time, drive over to pick them up, take them to school. Get them to school on time. Not necessarily complain about it. If you see that there is a gap, fill it. You need each other. The children have bonded with you. You need each other. Whether you want each other is not an issue, because you need each other because the children are bonded to both of you. Okay. Now, here's what I can promise you. If you don't heed what I'm saying, here's what I can promise you. You see my beautiful face? you all will continue to see it. You will grow up this way. Your children will grow up this way, watching me. They'll grow up to the point where when graduation time, I have them on my list to give them a gift. Because you all don't understand and don't participate together. You'll continuously come back here. If you want your children to grow up without that stress, because you all have, you can see what's going on with Aaliyah right now. She's completely stressed. Completely. You see what she's going through, all of that acting out you're seeing. Now, I had a chance to talk with her, and she told me what she thought it was, which is this drama. Now, you could pretend it's not, but just look at Miss Murphy. Look at you. Do y'all feel good and healthy mentally over this? This is strife.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Right.
I
Yes.
lose a lot of sleep, can't eat. Like the day we was in court, I couldn't even eat. I didn't have an appetite.
Right. And you could clearly see the same thing with her. So if you going through it, what do you think your children are doing? They can't even process it the same way.
Especially when they put in the middle of it. Especially like,
yeah. And even though you may not know that's what you all are doing, you are doing it.
Your Honor, we're not doing it because he's never in their life.
Yeah.
He's not in their life.
Stuff on mute.
He's not in their life.
I can't do it.
He's not in their life. I promise you that.
Put yourself on mute. It doesn't matter if he's not in their lives before. He's asking to be in their lives now. You mean to tell me he can't make such requests? The father of the children who now wants to be in their lives, who now has a home for them to come to, cannot ask to be in the children's lives. What would you say in 5 years when she graduates and he runs up to her and says, congratulations, you know, the first thing you're going to say, where were you? You'll say,
I would accept that, Your Honor.
Put yourself on mute. It's not about what you would accept, because you're not the child. We know what you would accept because he's not your husband. Neither is he the father of your children. So we already know what you would take, but you're not a leader. You're going to say, where were you? Just like you said it for the last 4 years. Where were you? And in 5 more years, if he was absent again, you would say, where were you? You would continue to ask that. But he is going to be able to say in 2021, I was here. I wanted to be here. So I understand you may not want him now. I understand you may feel that he rejected them, but he's here now. I'm telling you, go to sleep, reflect tonight, because these are some challenges that you all are going to have to go through, and you're going to have to make a decision. And when you make that decision, don't make it with your stress in mind. Make it the decision with the children in mind. Think about what these children really want and what these children need in making the decisions that you make. Not what you want, not what you need, not the heart feeling you'll feel if you had to let them go to him, and not the feeling you would feel, Mr. McCoy, if she kept him. Not that feeling. What do you think your children would feel when I make an announcement? And whatever I decide to do, how would the children feel? That's what you need to sleep on. All right. All right. You send my order shortly. Y'all have a good night. Good day.